All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Agent Experience, where we tell the stories behind the agents. We have another exciting episode for you today. Great guy, great friend of ours, and a mentor to myself and my brother especially, but he's also a mentor to everyone that he comes in contact with. It's my pleasure. We're going to be bringing on to the show today, Mr. Alfonso Camargo. He actually goes by his full name is Jose Alfonso Camargo Jr., and he comes to us from East LA, California. California in the house, now living in San Antonio, Texas. Him and his sister are killing it in the real estate game. Before real estate, he had his own truck. He was a truck driver, traveling all over, which is awesome. Made the move into real estate, and now he's been doing that full time in real estate since 2009. He has the Casa Camargo Real Estate Group, him and his sister Socorro. They've been crushing it. They are icon agents with eXp, doing big things. Now, when it comes to food, you can't go wrong. Alfonso's a big Mexican food connoisseur, loves Mexican food. Who doesn't love Mexican food? We all love Mexican food. Some of his biggest accolades that he'd like to mention, I think this is awesome. One of his biggest accolades is becoming a father. That's awesome. He has a great family, great kids, and he is also a U.S. Marine, former U.S. Marine, still very proud of his Marine heritage and everything that comes along with that. So that's super impressive. Now, what he likes to do on his free time is he loves to ice plunge. So we're going to talk about that. If you go to his YouTube channels, his Facebook accounts, you'll see him doing ice plunges. It's very, very cool. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on to the show Mr. Alfonso Camargo. Alfonso, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on the show, man. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. So did you do an ice plunge already today, or is that coming up later?
It's gonna be later, actually. It needed some water, so I added some water. I added some water to it, and it's cold, but not cold enough. But I'll do it today, this evening.
That's awesome, man. Well, I love to see your ice plunge videos. It's always inspiring. And one of these days I'll try it. I got to go over to your place and try to jump in your big freezer there, do an ice plunge with you. So, but yeah, thanks for taking time out of your schedule to be here on the Agent Experience. So Alfonso, we want to ask you a couple questions, kind of get to know you, get to know the story behind you as an agent. We have some questions ready for you. So let's go ahead and jump on in.
Let's go.
So, what is one piece of advice, with you being in real estate since 2009, which is awesome? What's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you first started in real estate, and how would that shape your approach to your career?
I wish I would have. I wish somebody would have told me to when I become a realtor, instead of just being a realtor for others, to be a realtor for myself. And I saw so many good deals go through, and I would just find buyers for them. And I was like, why didn't I buy them? You know what I mean? Why didn't I buy them? And I wish somebody would have told me, when you see a deal that's really good, buy it for yourself. And then, and if you can't buy it, then, sell it to somebody else. But I wish I ran into a lot of deals, and, I started the market in 2009. So I ran into a lot of really good deals. I sold I was licensed in 3 states. I was licensed in Biloxi, Mississippi, and then I was licensed in New Mexico. And when I went to New Mexico, it was 2009. The market, tanked. If you know, New Mexico is probably one of the shittiest economies of the U.S. I mean, they have two major cities, and so it was a tough market in Albuquerque. I mean, some of these houses were upside down, almost 45 to 50%. So when we went to listing appointments, we got kicked out sometimes because we told them what their house was worth now, and they would just throw our shit in the trash. But I wish I would, because I closed a lot of deals when we do the appraisals, and I'm like, man, I had 20,000 in equity, 15,000 in equity, and I'm just like, and I would look at my clients and I'm like, you're taking me to steak dinner, you're taking me because I just made you money. But that I wish somebody would have told me, when you see deals, try to buy them yourself first for your portfolio. And then try to sell them to your friends or anybody that that wants to buy a deal. But I wish I would have bought more real estate from the beginning, instead of just trying to sell.
For sure, and that's awesome. I read it the other day, and it said realtors need to invest in real estate because we have a bit of an advantage. We can see the market data, we can analyze it, we can do the CMAs, we know how to craft our own deals. So yeah, you're right. And my uncle always used to tell us that, Daniel and myself, he said, don't only sell real estate, you have to buy it. You have to buy it for yourself.
Yeah,
so, yeah, you're right.
And it's the ultimate, because you get paid commission on it. So or you can roll in your commission. There's all kinds of ways to structure it. So yeah, that's what I would tell anybody that's starting real estate. Like, don't forget to acquire properties for your portfolio.
That's right. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. And that's great advice. So if you're new to the business, don't only be out there selling, be looking for deals for yourself and get in there and own some property for yourself. I love it. So cool. So with you being in the business, buying and selling, you guys are always selling at a high level. You've been doing it for many, many years. Is there a memorable success story that comes to mind where you helped a client achieve their dream? And how did that experience impact you personally and professionally?
I had this one lady in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She reached out to me. There was this property. It wasn't even a high. The property was maybe like $70,000. It was on an acre. It was a foreclosure. I focused a lot on foreclosures because there was a lot out there. So if you weren't versed in foreclosures, you were lost. So and a lot of people didn't like dealing with foreclosures. They don't like dealing with banks, and I loved it because I'm very emotionless with banks, and I would hit them below the belt because I know they're going to make their money later on, right? This lady, she called me and she's like, hey, there's this house, but I don't have the money right now. I have the annuity and it's going to be cashed. And I'm like, well, do you have a letter for the annuity? And she's like, yeah, I have with the judge. And I said, well, send me the letter. And she had told me she had a family member in real estate and they didn't want to help her. And to me, I was like, and it was a high profile agent in New Mexico. And I was just like, and in my office, and it was kind of weird, but I said, I'll go, look, I'm going to help you. And this is what I told her. Look, we're going to submit it. No guarantees. It's a shot in the dark. It's a Hail Mary. And if it happens, it happens. Lady, she listened to me. We sent it in. They said they were okay with the annuity because the annuity took 30 days to cash out. The judge had to sign off on it. And lo and behold, we ended up closing on the deal. And it took a while. It took like 60 days, I think. But we closed on the deal. And to me, and I couldn't make it to the closing because I had a prior trip going to Las Vegas. But she called me FaceTime me and she literally was crying, telling me, thank you so much for doing this. You don't understand what this means to me. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is what I do. But lo and behold, she's like, I need you to give me a bunch of your cards, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So I gave her a bunch of my cards. Turns out she was she used to do make ready properties for foreclosures, which is weird. And she used to make ready a bunch of houses, but she was my biggest cheerleader. She would tell me, Alfonso, this house is going to come on the market. You should call so-and-so. And this guy's going to buy, and this guy. And she was my biggest cheerleader. And to this day, that to me was cool. And she became friends with my mom. I introduced her when my mom came to visit. They became friends, and that was pretty cool. So that was one of those stories where not a lot of people were going to help because 80,000 in commission back then, it was not that much, you know what I mean? But to me, I never cared about the commission. Those clients where you really have to get, down in the trenches with them, those are the ones that they're always going to remember what you did for them. Definitely. So yeah, that was to me, that always makes me feel good.
That's awesome. I love that story. That's a great story.
And she's still my friend on Facebook, so I always message like, "Wow, how's your house?" And she sends me pictures and everything, so it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing that, man. That's awesome. All right, cool. So, talking about purchasing property, talking about being in real estate, talking about being an owner in not only your real estate portfolio, but in your life, in your schedule. What does it mean to you? Just like we're all owners together in eXp, which is awesome. We love that. That means the world. But what does it mean to you to be an owner of something? You own your home. We own our brokerage. You own your car. What does it mean to you to be an owner?
It just gives you a sense of pride. It gives you that accomplishment, of the American dream, owning something, being, you take care of it more when you own something, and you know what I mean. And so just giving that pride of owning something, bro. Like, just that's the ultimate, especially in America. Owning a house in America is like the American dream, and it's very attainable. And some people just don't know how easy it is if they focus and set a couple of goals and cut out a couple, going out and eating out and, nails here and there. I mean, you can really do it. It's very doable. There's programs. Just people don't get informed, right?
For sure. And, reach out to Alfonso, reach out to myself. If you need help getting those, making those little adjustments, we can help you. We can put you in contact with lenders that can help you. So I love that, man. It's that dream of home ownership. It's in reach. People can do it. Just like you said, you make those little tweaks and we can make it happen for you. So I love that. And really, owning is everything. It's that equity, the vitamin E that we always talk about, that Grant Cardone talks about. Vitamin E, get that equity, build your portfolio, build your network. So I love that, man. Cool. So you come to us with a career in the military. You were in the Marine Corps, which is awesome. You owned your own truck, driving around the entire country, having a lot of fun, making your own schedule. What inspired you to get into real estate? And what is the main reason you chose to partner with eXp in your real estate career?
So driving across country was fun till you have kids, right? So I tell people that, being a trucker is actually really cool. And I would actually do it again. If I can go back, I would tell people, do it with a friend from high school, do it for like 5 years, go see the world, don't buy a house or anything, and then just stack all that cash and then go do whatever you want. But it was fun because you get to go see the world, right? You guys get to see our country. Everybody says, oh, I'm going to go travel abroad. I'm like, man, you see our country. It's beautiful everywhere. Sunsets everywhere. I was truck driving. I was happy. I was making a lot of money. Very dangerous job. Very time consuming, very hard on your back, very hard on your family because you're not there. That the bouncing was what got me back, just bouncing all the time. So when I would drive, I would listen to music, podcast. I had XM radio, I think back then. I had XM radio. So then I had an uncle that I would always pass by in El Paso, and we'd have lunch. And one day he said he was going to he's going to some seminar. He owned a construction company. He said he was going to a seminar in Boston for real estate, and I was just like, why is he doing that, right? And I'm just like, but I knew that he bought properties. He bought a lot of properties, and he built shopping centers. So I was like, man, maybe. And I told him, well, what is the course about? He's like, well, I have a few CDs. If you want to listen to them when you're on the road. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll take a crack at it. So when I was driving, I would, I started listening to a lot of, self-help books, and I just came to the conclusion that I was like, I loved truck driving. My goal in the truck driving was to buy like 4 or 5 trucks and then just be the broker, and then just like anything else, run the fleet, and that was it. And make money off others, right? And when I was driving, it just hit me one day. I was like, man, I'm gonna be the best truck driver in the world, but nobody's gonna know about me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be the best trucker out there, best steering wheel holder. And one day I was just like, I'm gonna sell my truck and I'm gonna get into real estate. I had listened to so many books, The Art of the Deal. Everybody makes money through real estate, right? It was the top 3, I think, is banking, real estate, and which one was the other one? I think insurance. Those are the 3 top millionaires. And I was just like. And I always said, when I make money, I want to own properties. And so one day I just told I looked it up, and I was like, oh man, it's not that hard to get in. And I got in. I figured it out. I got in. I got my license in Mississippi. I failed my test the first time. I ain't gonna lie. And back then I had to drive all the way to Jacksonville, Jackson, Mississippi, which is the state capital. You had to take the test in the state capital. So 2 hours driving back, pissed off because I failed the test by 2 points. I went back the following week and I passed it, but and then 6 months later, I was married at the time. My wife gets orders to New Mexico, so I had to start all over again. But when I was driving, I was just like, I want to impact the world, and I don't think I can impact the world driving. So I said, if I get into real estate, I can help people buy houses. I can help my family. I can help friends. I can, it'll open the world for me. And I did it. I jumped in and here I am.
That's awesome. And haven't looked back since, right?
I never haven't looked back since. I went full time, real estate right off the bat. I wasn't with eXp yet. I joined Keller Williams, a great company. Have nothing bad to say about it. I have a bunch of friends at Keller Williams. I learned so much, but I think I learned more because I had a really good mentor. It wasn't the brokerage, right? The brokerage was just extra, right? Because at the end of the day, it was people. The people that were there were cool. I mean, you can have brokerages with people that are not cool, and it doesn't matter, right, dude? But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
No, that you started with KW. You had
I started with KW, and but I had a really good mentor. And then I ended up moving to San Antonio. I ended up moving to San Antonio in 2015, and that's when me and my sister partnered up. We started. I told her, we're gonna start a team. When I got my license in 2009, like 6 months later, my sister got her license because I at Keller Williams we can recruit agents. So I convinced her to get her license. She was a wedding planner at the time, and I told her, look, all those people getting married, you have a database of 5,000. What do you think they're gonna do next after they get married? They're gonna buy a house, and then if they get a divorce, they're gonna sell a house and then buy 2 more houses. So I just told her, look, if get your license, if you don't sell a house in 1 year, I'll give you your $3,000 back. And she never looked back. She got her license. I think she got her listing the first month by door knocking her neighborhood. She was passing by. She saw for sale by owner. She knocked and she's like, I can't let you sell this house by yourself. This is my neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, she sold her first house after that. My sister's, been killing it. And then I had an opportunity, to move back to San Antonio. Me and my sister finally partnered up. We got to work together. And it was 2015 and 2016. We were interviewing a credit repair guy. And this guy was like, dude, have you heard of eXp Realty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, he kept on and on about eXp. And I was just like, all right, dude, whatever. Like, I'm at Keller Williams. We're the best. We're the biggest. And he's like, dude, you need to check it out. And I don't know why it stuck that I was like, this guy's not even a realtor. Why is he telling me about this brokerage? And I had kind of seen it. I had seen some people saying that they joined eXp, but I didn't. I had seen eXp signs in New Mexico. Nobody ever approached me. So the guy's like, there's going to be this lunch. You should come see it. And I said yes. I said yes to it, right? So me and my sister, we went. We had an appointment, and we were this close to not going because my sister's like, they're gonna try to recruit us, and I'm happy here, and there's traffic, and I have to pick up the girls, and blah blah blah. And I was like, look, we're already committed, and I don't like to. I'm one of those people that like to keep my word. My dad taught me, is like, your word's everything. Like, so I said, look, let's just go. We'll like, literally, she's like, poker face, we ain't going nowhere. And I was like, look, let's just be nice to people, and let's be flattered, and let's make new friends. Because at the time, my mentor always told me, network with as many realtors as you can. And at first I was like, why am I going to hang out with other realtors from other brokerages? They're my enemies. They're my competition. They're like, no, who do you think accept offers? The other realtors. So I had that mentality to help other realtors with other brokerages, because that's how deals get done, especially in a down market. In 2009, man, I would call all my realtor friends. I don't care if they're cold well. I don't care. I'm like, hey, bro, I got a deal. Yes, no. You know what I mean? So we were deal making like that. And, we went to this lunch and learn, and like changed our life, because we sat there, and all of a sudden I'm just like, all right. Honestly, the reason I joined was because I was gonna save almost 40 grand. But to me was, yeah, because we had an office that I was paying $550, fees. We had a website that we were paying almost $2,200 a month on a website. I had a Commissions Inc. website that we were paying on. I was paying Zillow. I was paying almost $3,000 for leads a month. So just, commission splits, everything. I just like, we're going to get a big raise just by moving. And she was like, no, they're going to, what's going to happen to our business? I go, Socorro, nobody, I go call all our friends and ask them what brokerage we're in. They don't even know where we're at. They don't care. They just want to know who's going to sell my house. Are you competent? Are you smart enough? And can you do it? And so, you know, looking at all the benefits, we joined eXp right on the spot. It was funny. It was Tracy Lewis was there. It was at the Dominion. And I remember telling her, like, she's like, we're about to hit a big milestone here at our company. We're about to hit 1,000 agents soon. So I was like, give me the laptop, because I wanted to say I had the story that I joined eXp under 1,000 agents, and I'm agent 955. So that's amazing. We joined eXp. We're driving home, and I'm like, at the time we had a buyer's agent, we had assisted 2 buyer's agents, and I'm like, all right, call the team and tell them that we quit. That we quit Keller Williams and that we joined eXp. And I remember our assistants like, I just learned how to use the, what is it called, the dot loop. And I'm like, don't worry, we'll buy dot loop. We'll pay monthly. Don't worry. And that was it. We joined eXp. Never looked back, and that was probably one of the coolest things I ever did. The game changer for me was equity. Honestly, the rev share, I didn't even think about it, because I did get profit share at Keller Williams, and I think the most I made a year was like $3,000. I would make about $300 a month. I sponsored about 12 agents across the country, and so to me it was like $300 a month was like, it pays for my gas, it pays for anything, and that was it. So we joined eXp, and here we are. I mean, we're gonna hit almost maybe 9 years or 10 years.
That's awesome, man. I love that story. And really, when it really comes down to it, y'all knew that. I mean, y'all are hearing it from agent 955 in the company, and now we're at over 87,000 agents worldwide, and Alfonso's agent 955. So y'all saw the vision. Maybe you had to convince Socorro a little bit, like, hey, we're gonna take a chance, we're gonna go for it, and haven't looked back. And now y'all have built an amazing organization, still selling real estate at the highest level. And I'm sure, right, y'all are having a lot of fun doing it, right? Y'all always have a good time.
Ever since I got into real estate, I tell people, get your real estate license. It opens so many doors. I've met so many cool people. I've gotten invited to so many events, speakers, coaches. Like it literally took me to the next level. And I got to tell you, like our parents have, like, they're from Mexico, right? They're immigrants from Mexico. My mom has like a 6th grade education. My dad has like a 3rd grade education. My dad was an orphan. So you got to remember, like, I didn't have people tell us about, stock, equity. It was just a different, it was different. So when I got into real estate, and I love to read. So that's one thing people know. I don't tell people I read a lot, because, when you're not cool, and you're not cool. When you were younger, you're not cool. If you were a reader, you would call you a nerd. So I wouldn't tell people I read, but I love to read. I'm a history buff. That's my thing. I love history. So I'm always reading. And when I got into real estate, that's one thing that I started doing, was reading a lot of like self-help books and getting better, right? Like one of the first books that I read was like the $1 Million Real Estate Agent from Gary Keller. That was a really good book. That one's good for anybody in the business. Like, I don't care what business you run, you need that book. It's very, very, very good book. The Shift. I read The Shift. I read a bunch of books, and to me, it just changed my mindset, right? Because, I was a little rough on the edges. You got to remember, I was a truck driver. Like, it's crazy when you're a truck driver, because people are nuts, and you have to be ready to pop off. Like, some people sometimes try to steal your stuff, and you have to get gangster and beat people up if you have to. Like, people steal your gas, people steal your tires, people steal everything, like CBs, anything. So I was more, I was rough around the edges. I was, and over here, it changed me. It changed me into a better person, to be honest with you. My thinking, my mentality, everything completely 180. Like, it just changed. It changed the dynamic of how I look at a lot of things, and that's where cold plunging came in. One of my mentors, I saw cold plunge. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I go, and I know it's good for you, but I just didn't know the benefits. And I'm like, wow. So things like that I got exposed to, being in real estate, and that's just awesome. Elevating yourself and taking yourself to another level, which is hard. I mean, I don't even drink anymore. I've been sober for 3 years, and all those things are through eXp, believe it or not, because a lot of people that influence me, my mentors, and I would look around, and I just didn't want to let people down. And I was like, nobody wants to see Alfonso all buzzed out. He doesn't look cool like that. I'm gonna give you the best version of myself, and that's where the ice came in, because it was a lot of focus, a lot of clarity, a lot of I tell them, like, it's a lot of mind control. Sometimes you gotta psych yourself out. You gotta tell yourself you're the best. You know what I mean? The affirmations, and I tell people, if you're not the biggest cheerleader of yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, because nobody's gonna cheer for you. You gotta cheer for yourself, and then others will come, and then also bring value to people, bring value to others, and that'll change your life for real.
For sure. I love it, man. And guys, I hope y'all are taking notes. Wherever y'all are listening to this, take notes, man. Alfonso's dropping gold nuggets galore over here, so y'all be sure to take some notes. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for sharing. So, you talk about your family, you talk about where you came from, where you grew up, your sister's in the business with you, you talk about your upbringing. But really, let's dig deep here. How has real estate and eXp Realty, as the company that you hang your hat with, changed your life? You've already given us a lot of information about how your life has changed, but really, how has it changed your life and the life of your loved ones?
So it gave me a lot of my time back. So real estate is fun, don't get me wrong, but when you're selling at a high level, and this, when you're selling, properties over, 40, 50 properties, it is high demand, and you can't stop, right? And you can't be going on vacation for crazy long periods of time, because that's when everybody calls you. So any of you realtors struggling, start driving to the airport, you'll get a phone call. But that's what it is, bro. Straight up.
For sure. And I know it gives you your time back, it gives you your time. And Alfonso, you have a great story, and I'd love if you could share it with us. Talk about spending your time with your family, giving, just like you mentioned, giving your family the best version of yourself. If you could share a little bit about how getting that time back really changed everything for you and your family, and if you could elaborate on that for us, man, we'd appreciate that.
So the way I say, it changed my life. So our rev share would cover our bills and some. So basically, I don't have to work if I don't want to. So it's totally different when I have to go sell than I want to go sell. It's two different mentalities, right? And so that's where I was at. I had more time freedom. COVID came around. I think it was 2020. COVID came around. My dad was in El Paso, and we're just like, hey, come over here. Why? Because El Paso locked up, really locked up. And, San Antonio was kind of loose. And I told him, well, come over here, hang out with us. So that alone, just having my dad come hang out with us during COVID and stay with me, that was fun. The stock, we joined when the stock was 60 cents. We had a ton of stock. The stock hit 180. It split. I mean, it's been a wild ride. So just financially, you don't have to, when you don't have to worry about paying your bills, then there's more opportunity for other stuff, right? So now you can focus on your health. I was getting up there in weight, and COVID, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to do all this other stuff, because I started thinking about, how do I outlive my money? That's what really got me into the health craze, because I've always been healthy. I always ate like shit sometimes, and I drank. And then the one that always got me was I drank, because it ruins everything for me. Because I was always Monday through Friday, I'm working out, blah, blah, blah. And then here goes Friday, Saturday, and you're drunk, and you eat like shit, and then you go back to doing the same thing, and it's just the results stagger, right? It plateaus, right? So just having the time freedom, having more opportunity to to like do a flip, do other projects that I couldn't, like. And that alone is I mean, having time with your family and not having to work, that's the coolest thing ever. Then my dad got sick, so that was cool. That I didn't have to go to work and send him off. Like he got sick, and I got he only wanted me to take care of him. He's like, he only wanted me to give him a bath. My sister but my sister physically couldn't do it. My brother was battling with cancer at the time, so I was like, I had to step up. And to me, having those the last 4 or 5 years with my dad, like I had a lot of time with him. So when he passed away, I had closure. I asked him everything I wanted to ask him, and he was proud. He was proud of me, and he always rocked his eXp hat. So that was always cool.
That's awesome, and I know it's a hard story to tell, and we appreciate you sharing that with us, and really.
No, I mean, eXp, like, I had so much time with my dad, dude. You don't understand. Like, I would take him to the racetrack. I would take him to the bingo. I would take him to all his clinics, all his appointments. And that right there, like, imagine if you had to, like, you don't know what's going on. Like, you want to be with your loved ones all the time. So that right there is like, eXp will always have my heart because of that.
And you're right. We always talk about the finances. We always talk about making more money. We always talk about earning more and the equity and everything like that. But what it really comes down to is freedom, right? The freedom to, if you want to take care of your loved ones, if you want to go spend a month somewhere else, go to El Paso, go back to California, go to Vegas and have a good time, whatever you want to do, it's more than, the money is just a tool. It's just a tool to get you that time, that freedom to be able to do whatever you want to do with your time. So, I love that story, and thank you so much for sharing. And, I wish that for everyone in the business, not only in real estate, everyone in life. I wish everyone had the ability to say, hey, next week I want to go spend some time with my niece and nephew. Next week I want to go visit my family in Mexico. Next week, and it's about that freedom, and we want that for everybody. And as much as we try to talk about money and talk about all this stuff, the money is just the avenue. The money is just the tool. It's about the freedom. So thank you so much for sharing all that, Alfonso. You're an inspiration to all of us, and we want to get where you are in your journey, in your building phase, and you're always so open and willing to help us in what we're trying to do, because we want to try to get where you are, but you're always pushing yourself to get better and better and better, and you're an inspiration. You and your sister are an inspiration to all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Cool. So thank you so much. And I know we got a little deep and got heavy there. So let's wrap it up and let's end on a lighter note.
Let's go.
You talked about having, who would you have a good Mexican food dinner, right? There's nothing like, my grandpa always used to say, there's nothing like a big Mexican plate, right in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
If you could have dinner with any person of influence, whether they're living or not here with us anymore, who would it be and why?
Wow. So influence.
It could be an actor, a musician, a celebrity. It could be a family member, anyone that you, just to pick their brain. Who would you love to learn something about over a meal?
I think I never met my grandfather, so I probably would love to have a meal with my grandfather.
I love it. So, I mean, just I can only imagine just the stories they have, the experiences.
Yeah, no, I would love, because he was a very handsome guy. My dad says he was a looker. He was a pool shark. He was he was gangster, man. He was I'm sure he was gangster because I mean, my dad says he was. They killed him. So he got in a pool altercation, and somebody shot him.
Wow, so, man, that's like a scene straight out of a movie, man.
I'm telling you, that's why those are the stories my dad tells me. So I'm like, I would love to have breakfast with my grandfather. I mean, that would be probably one of the coolest meals ever, and pick his brain. That's
awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Alfonso, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. It was awesome hearing the stories behind not only where you came from, but hearing about your aspirations for the future, hearing about, everything that you've accomplished so far. And I can't wait to continue to learn from you and see where you and your business and your family and everything like that keep continuing to advance. And we want to be there for the journey, and keep taking us with you on your journey, because we want to be there learning from you. And for those of y'all watching, if you don't know, Alfonso and his sister are in our direct group. So Alfonso sponsored an agent in that agent. His name is Tyler Royke. We're going to have him on the show coming up here in the next couple weeks. And then Tyler invited us in. So the very first time I met Alfonso, I didn't know who he was. He was actually sitting right across the table from me. I went to a lunch, just like Alfonso had said. He was sitting across from me, and he looked real nice. He was wearing a vest, and he was wearing a tie. He looked real sharp. And I said, man, this guy looks like he means business. And then Tyler introduced me, and he said, this is my sponsor, Alfonso. I said, cool. I said, I like this guy already. He was sitting across from me. I didn't know who he was. And then I learned that we were all going to be in the same group. And it was one of the best decisions that we ever made. And we're happy to have Alfonso as a friend and a mentor to us in our business. So Alfonso, thank you for taking the time. And where can people find you if they want to find you online? Where can they find you? Where can they see your ice plunge videos? Tell us where we can find you online, so that way people can follow you.
You can find me on just Alfonso Camargo on Facebook, Instagram. It's Semper 102, and then TikTok I'm Realtor King 100. But and then YouTube, I think it's just my name, Alfonso Camargo.
Very cool. Well, y'all be sure, drop Alfonso a follow him on socials. Check out his ice plunge journeys and his fitness journeys. I know he loves to go on early morning walks, and he's a big fitness guy, and those ice plunges are always inspiring. So Alfonso, thank you so much for taking time. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Agent Experience. Y'all take care and have a great one. We'll see y'all soon.
Thank you for inviting me.